set?
Mm-hmm.
Howdy.
Hello, everybody. I want to come here, Elizabeth Judge's Variety Hour.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Kevin.
Yes.
How you doing? Kaye Lazar, too. But my friends call me Kevin. And if you're not a friend of mine, Mr. Lazar to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome to the fall.
Yes, welcome to the
And
fall.
what a fall we're having.
Yes.
Right from a high.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And if I'm squinting, it's only because the sun's in my eyes.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like. I don't want to look like Elton John with sunglasses.
Yeah.
Or we're Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. Let me try the sunglasses. No, that can't. Now I can't see anything. So. Now I just see the sun, only darker.
Yeah.
Now, we just had our first rehearsal for a play.
First play.
Tell us about the play.
It's called The Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th Street.
And it's a Christmas show, so.
I can't believe it.
I know. 3 months till Christmas.
Yeah.
So.
I can't believe. You've probably seen the movie, and with Maureen O'Hara and Natalie Wood. And Edmund Gwynn won the Oscar, and they show it a lot of. I tell you the craziest thing: so many people in this show. I think the producers and of course both of us were trying to say. And you remember the scene where he gets the ride on the back, and all the Christmas cards come at the courtroom and everything.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I never saw it." I said, "How could you? There are certain things you can't understand people have missed. How did they miss Miracle on 34th Street? Now, I have to admit, the Christmas Story is probably supplanted, but before A Christmas Story became the Christmas movie, it was Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
And there's a play. It's the same plot and everything, the same thing, and bring your kids to see it.
Yeah.
It'll be coming your way at near the beginning of December, like the first week in December. I don't know the dates, but we'll tell you as it gets closer.
We will let you know the dates. I want you all to come see us. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who do you play?
I play
You play Santa Claus.
Well, close, but I play the Macy's store elf.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to be doing some Christmas carols.
Do Christmas Carol. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
My favorite part of my favorite line in the Christmas carols is "Don we now our gay apparel." We had different lyrics when I was a kid.
Yeah.
One thing about Christmas carols are they're almost all in the public domain, so they're ripe for parody.
Yeah.
Jingle Bells, forget about it.
Yeah.
Jingle Bells was originally a Thanksgiving song.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I just heard that the other day. They never mentioned Christmas in the song, so in the lyrics. So then I said, yeah, of course it's not a Christmas. I mean, it's not typically a Christmas song.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between carols and songs. Carols tend to be religious songs.
Right.
Like "O Come All Ye Faithful" and "Old King Wenceslas" and stuff. The songs tend to be like "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow."
Yeah.
But you'll be singing, I guess, the carols.
Yeah, I love Christmas carols. Yeah. So,
Have you ever gone around Christmas caroling?
Oh yeah, many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring us some figgy pudding.
Bring us some figgy pudding. Bring us some figgy pudding. And bring some right here.
Yes. I could demand a lot of things. The last thing I want is figgy pudding. Well, they just smush a bunch of Fig Newtons with milk. Oh, God, that sounds awful. So, yeah. And, I didn't say what I'm doing in the play. I actually have a kind of a substantial lead. I play the romantic lead to the Maureen O'Hara character, the lawyer who falls in love. She's a divorcee, and I play the lawyer who falls in love with Maureen O'Hara and the daughter. And it's very important. This is very important. If all you people in like romance, who there likes romance? Anyway, that if you date someone with kids that already has kids, like a divorcee or a widow or something,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta get along with their kids. Because if you don't get along with their kids, you're gonna have nothing but trouble.
Oh yeah.
Do what and I have to admit, I in the past I've tried to get along with some kids, but sometimes sometimes it wasn't all my fault, just being this awful guy. A lot of the time the kid said, I want my mother to remarry my father. And you're just this interloper. You're this bounder.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that situation, my dad dated a lady years ago.
Yeah.
And she had 2 children.
Yeah.
But one was grown, and the other one was, didn't like my dad at all.
Yeah, and your dad is a good guy.
Yeah.
And most of these guys are good guys. Just the kids don't like him.
And he sometimes he would pull tricks on my dad.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, I would never. If a future step kid ever offered me something to drink, or a meal they prepared, they probably mixed dog poop in it or something. Oh, and then they'll just laugh while I'm eating. Oh, this chocolate pudding is good. This figgy pudding is good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I once had a woman once tell me, you're gonna love this. She told me that you don't have any kids, and my boyfriend before you had 2 kids, so my kids could play with them, and now my kids are left out in the cold because when I go out with they have no kids to play with. And I said, well, you mean because I don't have any illegitimate kids? I'm penalized for that. I'm trying to be responsible. Because I don't have any illegitimate kids, I don't. And then I told this story to my sister. She goes, you're never going to get far with women if you keep referring to their kids as illegitimate. Sound like a reporter.
Yeah, I wonder why they call them illegitimate kids.
Well, that's what they used to call them. In fact, it was a terrible. Actually, the kid didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
The sins of the parents.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I feel sorry for a lot of people with kids, because a lot of times I've seen this actually happen a lot. Guys will marry their girlfriends in their 20s, and then when they're getting their 40s, they divorce, and at that point, the woman has a harder time finding a new boyfriend, while the guy, just picks up where he left off. That's how we are, so that's why sometimes I think that's why the woman gets the house and the car and the kids, because okay, it's all yours.
Okay.
I want my freedom.
Yeah.
The old saying, and you know why Hollywood divorces are so expensive? Because they're worth it.
Yeah. And plus, it's just a
Willie Nelson said that.
Plus, it's just a publicity to them.
Publicity.
They just want to get married just to get married.
Yes.
They don't really. I don't think they're like marriage material, really. I think they just like get married and then like divorce quick because, because it's just for publicity.
Well, it does help. Like the Kardashians, what are they doing? They're making a travesty of marriage.
Oh Lord!
I remember gays had the hardest time getting married, and then they'd always use as an example. It says, how come? Because you're not really marriage material. They would say to gay people. But then they say, well, how about the Kardashians? They're not gay. Are they marriage material? They make a mockery of it.
Oh yeah, remember? I don't know if you remember them. Their names were Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson.
Oh yeah,
they had their own
TV show.
Yeah, and they didn't stay married very long.
Well, that's Hollywood for you.
Yeah. And
they look like a couple that got along well.
Yeah.
She seems like a nice woman.
Yeah.
And I guess they both got remarried. And I was thinking about parents, and our parents are getting older and everything, and to the point where you suddenly realize they're not these superheroes when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
they have problems. They yell at, they get frustrated, and everything. And I was wondering, your father, do you call, what do you call your dad? What do you call your father, I should say? I don't want to influence you.
When I was growing up, I called him Daddy.
Daddy.
And then years later, I called him Dad.
Dad, yeah. Where did you get the nickname from Daddy to Dad? And when I get older, I the same with me. Now I think now we've been together so long, I just call him duh. I just shortened Dad to duh. Soon I won't even call him anything. I'll just think of his name.
Oh my God! Are you freaking kidding me?
So anyway, I called my dad.
Oh
Okay,
my
I called
God.
my. I tell you what I called my
Jesus.
dad. I called my dad Papa.
Papa.
No, I called him Papa, and then I called him Pop,
Okay.
and then somewhere like as I think in elementary school I called him Daddy,
Yeah.
and then some way I called him Dad, and it's stuck ever since. Dad.
Yeah, I know. It gets stuck years went on. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my mama, when I was really little, I called her Mommy.
Mhm.
And then when I was probably in like the elementary school, I called her Mama.
Yeah.
And then Mom.
Yeah.
And then I continued calling her Mom.
Just like with my mom, I used to call her Mommy,
Yeah.
Mama,
Yeah.
Mom,
Yeah.
and Ma.
Ma. You see, you just shortened Mom to Ma. He did the same thing I did. With Dad.
Except yours is funnier. You're like, Dad.
I'm all Da. Well, Da is actually Irish. And they call their fathers Da. I think they used to call him Daddy and then Dad and then Da. And that's, I think, from the Irish father is something like that. Dada or something. And then now in Europe, in most of Europe, they call their father, your father is Padre. Like even the priests are called Padre.
Like when you're Spanish, you called her them
and it's
Padre.
also, I think, in French and Italian.
Yes.
Similarly,
Yes.
it's maybe not
maybe
pronounced the same,
spelled differently. Maybe,
but they're both
I guess.
all Latin, probably Portuguese
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And they say Padre, and then that gets shortened to Papa.
Duh.
So they call Papa, and then they say Pop. A lot of people a lot of my friends call their parents Pop, their father Pop. But a lot of them, I know guys my own age, they still say Daddy. Like on Dallas, my daddy.
Right.
I saw my daddy yesterday, and they're like 50 years old. They're 50 years old, and they say Daddy.
Yeah.
What are you? 8 years old? You're
Yeah.
50 years old. But Dad, no, but whatever you call your dad, your father is fine. Now you know what I don't like?
What?
I don't, and you probably everyone agrees with me. I don't like people who call their parents by their first name,
Oh God.
by their Christian name.
Yeah.
I don't really like that.
I
at
don't
all.
like that name. I don't like it either. I mean,
And I know, and I see a lot of kids showing off to their friends. Oh, Billy and Barbie, Billy and Barbie are having a bad day today, and I say, Billy and Barbie, are they friends of yours, or And I said, no, they're my parents. I said, Billy and Barbie.
Oh really?
Don't call your parents. Let me tell you something. You only have but so many people in your family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how many kids a person can basically have. Maybe 10 kids at the most or something. I mean, you could have more than that. But those kids should show respect to their parents by calling them Dad or Pop or Mama or Mommy. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people who can call them that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I know, sadly, their parents pass away before they get married, and they call their mothers and fathers-in-law Dad and Mom, which I think is kind of cute,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because they've actually replaced their parents in a way.
Yeah. Like
I know guys whose father-in-law is younger than and mother-in-law is younger than they are.
I remember one time years
Yeah.
ago when I was growing up. It was kind of like I used to call my mom Jones and Dad Jones.
Hey, Jones.
Yeah, and
Have you met Miss Jones?
sometimes I would call them kind of being silly.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones. And then my mom got on me about that.
Oh yeah.
She was like, Mary, don't you ever call us that. Call us Mom and Dad,
Mom
like
and-
other people.
Like, yeah. I,
But I was kind of, I don't know if I was making fun of it or, whatever. I was just kind of saying it, just to show off, I guess.
Yeah.
It was pretty hilarious, but I got to the point where I kind of stopped it because my mom scolded me about
Oh
that.
yeah. I call up a lot of people at my job, and I actually called up a woman. Let's call her Susie Vanderhoosie, like from the song. And I said, "Hey Susie, I have to ask you something." And then she goes, "It's Mrs. Vanderhoosie to you." She didn't know who it was. I wasn't a friend of hers, and so all I could say was, "And Mrs. Vanderhoosie, you shall be called." And then I just went on. And then every once in a while I throw in a Mrs. Vanderhoosie here and there to show that I learned.
Right.
People deserve to be called what they say.
Right.
First time I was in a really bad situation when I was a kid. I was in a car accident, and I also got a ticket for reckless driving because I got in a crash. It was a terrible story. I don't want to go into it, but I was 17 years old, and the cop arrested me or gave me a ticket, and I had to go to court after the worst day of my life. And he kept referring to me, my real name is Kravitz, as Mr. Kravitz, Mr. Kravitz, Mr. Kravitz. And I was never called that before. I was always called by my first name. And to this day, I don't like being called Mr. anything, Mr. Lazar, Mr. anything. I like being called Kevin. I met a guy, Harvey Hudson. He ran WLEE and WRLH in Richmond. He became a friend of mine. But when I first met him, he was kind of a revered character in Richmond, Harvey Hudson. And I said to him, "Mr. Hudson, it's a pleasure to meet you." And I shook his hand. He goes, "Mr. Hudson? Did he just walk in? All my friends call me Harvey." I said, "Harvey it is." And then later that same night, he introduced me to a famous band leader, Woody Herman, who was in town.
Yeah.
And that's where I met him. I'd never met him before. And he was like the host of the show.
Yeah.
So I've always been very informal with people. I mean, I always call them by their first name and everything. And so I really... so I always believe people, their honorific should be what they want.
Yes.
Whenever I see the mayor, I always call him Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Mr. Governor, Mr. President, that type of thing.
Yes.
Politicians, that. I tend not to call. I was never in the military, so I tend not to call if a guy introduces himself as Captain Spaulding or something, like a Groucho, or Lieutenant Dickerson or something. I always tend to call him Mister, because I don't have to call him that. I'm not in their rank. I'm not there. But now I think if they really insisted, I'd probably call him that.
Yeah.
My dad has a very funny cartoon. I think he saw it in the New Yorker, where a guy's asking his boss for a raise, and the boss says, "I can't give you a raise, but I have the next best thing. Starting next month, you don't have to call me Mister. You can call me by my first name." So anyway, I try to and also when I was a kid, I used to always have to call neighbors, Mr. Smith and Mr. Doohickey.
Yeah,
Mr.
so my grandfather taught me how to do that too.
Yeah.
I think I told you that before, but
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. It was like, I had an old lady next door, across the street neighbor.
Yeah.
And my grandfather caught me saying, "Hi Helen, hi Helen," and then he comes up to me. He goes, "Mary, call her Mrs. Bowman."
Yeah.
I told you that a billion times with somebody else before that you called them by their first name. Do not do that. Since you are still young, call them Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have nieces and nephews, and they still call me Uncle Kevin, even though I like to think of them as Mr. Cool, I like their brother, their older brother.
Yeah.
But I'm not their older brother. I'm their parents' age.
Yeah, exactly.
And so speaking of kids are kind of weird about things like that.
Yeah.
Teachers, I once asked a teacher what what do you call the principal? Do you call him, Mr. or Mrs.? He goes, no, when the kid's around, we call them Mr. or Mrs., but when the kids aren't around, we call them by their first name.
Yeah.
Because we're all work colleagues.
Right.
But I think I mentioned that before, but I found out that if I used my real voice on the phone when I was a kid, I didn't get anywhere. And so whenever I wanted to talk to Mom, you have to remember there was no cell phones in those days. You had to pay 10 cents or a quarter to get in a payphone. Mm-hmm. And you're lucky to find a payphone. You put in and I'd say, I need someone to pick me up from the library or something. So a lot of times they won't let you use the phone.
Yeah,
it was awful in those days.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm out of those days.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, I would call up. I have sister Maeve, and so I would call her up. I would call up the house, and Maeve would answer. I hated it when Maeve answered it.
Oh Lord.
Because she would answer, and she goes, "Hello." No, she wouldn't say hello. She'd go, "Who is it?"
Oh my God.
Beware of anyone who says "Who is it" when they answer the phone.
Yeah.
She said, "Who is it?" And so I said, "Can you put Mom on the phone? I really need someone to pick me up from the click." And then I'd hear the coin.
Wow.
So I had to get another 10 cents or a quarter and make another call. You should cost me money. 50 cents for... I said, don't hang it up. Give it to Mom. And then she'd hang up again. I don't know what I would do. And then luckily I think they had like star 69 or something where you could call back.
Yeah.
And that's when... Kevin, we haven't heard from you in the last few hours. Yes, pick me up. I ran out of money. I can't call. Pick me up. Thanks to Maeve.
Wow.
So then, I smartened up. So then I would call. If this similar situation happened in the future, I'd call up and I'd say, hello, little girl. Can I speak to Mrs. Lazar? Oh, yes. Of course, sir. And of course, it goes, and then Mom would say, whoa, is this you, Kevin? I thought it was something important. Yeah, that's what I did. She would have hung it up if she would have known it was me, as she has in the past. But then it started, it wasn't a very good secret to keep, because once I started calling, hello, can I speak to Mrs. Lazar? And she, Maeve said, this is Kevin, isn't it? Click. There goes your money.
Yeah.
The money I could have bought, all the money I saved, I could have bought ice cream from the ice cream man. The full price.
Yeah.
All those ices, Italian ices, and everything. And then, so then she started doing it to me, and then I was kind of wise to it. I wasn't so nasty to hang up on her, but I would, because I knew how important money was. My sisters didn't care about money,
Yeah.
So, so they would say, can I speak to Mrs. Lazar, little boy? I said, is this Maeve? But I was always like threatening to hang up, but I didn't hang up. And so we all this. Let me tell you, they knew nothing. Members of my family, my younger sisters, have no concept of a dollar, how to make money, it's just money here today, gone tomorrow. I don't know if they're still that way. I know that when they started having kids, they started watching their dollars because they saw the same problems in their kids spending money that they had when they were kids. And I'll tell you a good example of this. My mom we'd go to the movies, and movie theater food is quite expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you go there now, it's like a $3 or $4 soda.
Yeah, wow.
Would you ever spend that much on it? And it's all ice.
No.
Popcorn, like $6 or $7 or something. Yeah. But in my day, it was comparable. It was pretty much that same expensive, only changed for inflation. So my mom would give us maybe 50 cents or $1, which you could actually buy some food at a movie theater in those days. We're talking about the 1970s.
Yeah.
So then what would happen was my mom would actually give us the money. She would give us 50 cents or $1 to spend at the movies. She says, now listen, your admission is fine. You can go in, all right. Now, you could either take this money and save it. You could spend it on the candy bar, the jujubes, the snow caps, whatever they sell, the raisinets. Or we are going. After that, I'm going to take you to Food Fair or Safeway or one of these grocery stores. They're giant. And they have a candy counter where it has more candy than this, and it's like a third the price. You could buy 3 times as many candy, or you could buy the same candy and save the other 25 cents or 35 cents. So I thought that was a great idea. In fact, I would save the whole 50 cents and just wait for later, and maybe not even buy any candy. I just liked having the money. My sisters would say, "I don't care. Boom! I need my glass with almost all the ice in it with a thimbleful of Coca-Cola for 50 cents right now." And then they'd be upset. How come it's all good? It's all ice. It serves you right.
About that situation, it's kind of similar, but when I was growing up, my great aunt would give me like $1 like every Christmas and my every birthday. So anyway,
$2 a year.
Yeah, my mom. It might not have been much to people, but it was something to me, growing up. But
that's a lot of money for a kid.
But my mom started getting involved with the money, that my great aunt gave me.
Yeah.
And she would ask me or talk to me like kind of like counsel with me, saying, "Mary, would you like to spend this $1 to put toward a movie, or do you want to put put it towards something else?" It was a Pinocchio movie that came out in the 80s or something, or maybe it was a re-release or something. And she was like, "Mary, I want you to maybe spend something on something else if you want to. You don't have to go to this movie.
Yeah.
Just set aside for something else."
Like a toy or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So
something that you could keep and play with over and over again.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it was something like that,
I saved my money once to buy this fake radio that you had it was a toy. You had little discs to put in, and you would hear like sports announcing on it, because I love sports announcing. And it only came with 2 discs. And I must have, in those days, it was a lot of money. It was $6 I saved. And then I found a place called Best Products, which actually took $2 off, so it was like $4.50. So I said, okay. See, first thing my parents did was steer me. They knew what I was up to, so they steered me to something cheaper. My parents, I was one of those types of kids that every time I bought anything, boy, they really saw you coming. Boy, what an easy mark you were.
Yeah, but did I tell you the story one time about I was getting a job, at that knife company, knife company. I think I told you that, but I would tell you this again, because I don't think anybody heard about this one. This kind of same situation with my mom and all that.
Yeah.
And I was getting they wanted a security deposit.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't know they required a security deposit.
To sell the knives?
Yeah, the knives.
Yeah.
It's called Cutco.
Yeah.
But the company is actually called Vector. So.
Yeah.
But and then my mom was looking at this note, saying that we had to pay the security deposit, and she was like, "Mary, we might go to the mall. So, do you rather spend your money on this security deposit thing, or do you want to just go and save your money to go to the mall with?
Buy a dress."
Yeah. So she kind of made me change my mind at that moment.
Yeah.
Because, it might have been a gimmick anyway.
Oh, so, anytime you get kids to sell stuff, it's always, the kids never come out of it any good, unless they're brilliant kids.
But I'm glad I didn't spend money on the security deposit and spend on the money in the mall instead.
Well, so many people I know buy those things to... They wind up being stuck with all the Avon products or something.
Yeah.
The Sarah Coventry jewelry, what's that pink Cadillac people drive? Those women drive.
Oh, Avon.
Avon, yeah. And they. I mean, some people. Tupperware. A lot of people are very good at that. Yeah. But not everyone is good at that.
I used to sell Avon and Tupperware.
Yeah.
And things like that. That was like many years ago when I was in my early 20s.
You're a one-woman shopping mall.
Yeah. But every time I would pass out the catalogs and all that, everybody just wants to look and nobody wants to buy anything.
That's right.
I'm like, daggone use of giving people these catalogs that they're just going to look at them.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
I know. It's like, really?
Well, my problem with buying stuff is that I go into a store, and if they don't have what I'm looking for, I walk out.
I know.
And sometimes people get, and your friends, forget about it. Your friends who are selling stuff, you're kind of obligated to buy their insurance or something. and maybe you don't want it.
Yeah, I know. It's like...
I do buy my friends' books when they write.
Yeah, I mean...
Or do if their CD is, I buy their CD.
I do buy friends gifts sometimes.
No, I'm talking about the books they wrote.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
You know, they usually give me a nice autograph.
Right.
And then I put it on my shelf after I read it and show it off to people. Yeah, my friend's a writer.
Right.
My friend does that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a friend of mine. He was the producer of an album, and I was so impressed. Wow, he produced by that guy's name, and I was so impressed. But that now anyone can do it. I've had my names on albums. Photo credits. Special thanks to Kaye Lazar, that type of thing. And so my mom would my mom would she kind of taught mom and dad taught me the value of also when you go when someone tries, usually when an adult tries to sell a kid something in a store, it's always the worst thing. Like for example, if you want to buy a crucifix, it's the crucifix, like in a religious store. They always get sell you the crucifix and no one will buy. Oh, look, I'm got you a really good deal. I know people to this day, they go to jewelry stores and they say, I'm getting a deal, $1,000 off this, diamond ring or something, or diamond necklace. And I say, they're not losing any money. They're pretending they're giving you a deal, but if you go on the internet, you could probably find a better deal. Or go to another store. The best thing to do, and this is not hard to do, is that if you have a particular favorite store like Target or Walmart or something, go to all the stores, okay? And then when you go to Walmart or Target or anywhere, Best Buy or something, say to them, listen. And sometimes it'd be even better if you have evidence, like a flyer or something. Or this same thing is selling for $30 less down the street. I like your store. Don't really care for them, but money talks, and I want to buy it cheaply. Right. And then they'll say they won't volunteer this. You have to do your homework and say, oh, you'll buy it there for $30 cheap. If we don't sell it to you $30 cheap, okay, we'll sell it to you $30 cheap. We'll make our money back somehow, Yeah. And it's good. It's good, even goodwill, because part of salesmanship is developing a clientele, not a one-shot thing where you sell somebody and pack up your suitcase and trunk of your car and drive off. Right. You want people to come back to your store. Right. Because you have goodwill and good business sense and fairness more than anything. So, yeah. So anyway, thanks for telling me all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. And do you want to do another half of your show?
Yes, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We're going to take a little break, and may God bless you. See you in a little bit.
Right on.